The following video you are about to watch contains adult language. Probably didn't need to say that, but I will, because just in case someone is bothered by that. Tacos. Hey, hi-ho, and howdy, ladies and gentlemen. But mostly ladies, and by mostly ladies, I mean almost exclusively, exclusively. I will never not be surprised by how that whole division of gender thing went on this series. It was really interesting. That I never expected that. I mean, maybe probably should have. I don't know. I expected there would be a higher, male audience for a show about two ladies. Is that my perverted mind making these things? Like, no, everyone else was just like, that's cool, two lesbians, let them be together and be happy, and we're German for some reason. I don't know how this happened, but, also, this is not a very good German accent, but we are moving on for this story. Yeah. Point is, I thought it was cool. I wasn't expecting that. I like to believe that it was my sweet, tender fucking voice that made you all, like, feel good down on your insides. That sounds... Stop it. Guys, we're here for the lemon side. I know. Point is, this is the little, finale, final thoughts, update video thing, stuff, something. For Citrus, again, going into this, don't have your expectations too high. It's gonna be a little short, probably, and it's not gonna be of any real significance. I just wanted to give a couple last thoughts on it, because I suppose there's some things worth mentioning. Yeah, so we finished Citrus, fuck, it would have been like, week, 2 weeks ago, I don't remember. Point is, we finished it just a little while ago, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I mentioned it at the end of the video. It's not the greatest show by any means. I don't think it's breaking down any immense barriers from the perspective of a straight schmuck guy. But, to me, it never struck me as being anything. It's nothing too inherently profound or anything like that. But it was an enjoyable time. I had a good time with it. I dug a good number of the characters. Some of them are still a little on my nerves. But sorry, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I don't got a hateful bone in my body, except for when I do. But it just, you got your issues, girlfriend. You got your issues. But you've been much better since the last time I saw you. Anyway, point is, yeah, I've been enjoying the characters, and I'm a sucker for the romance and drama-y stuff. Kind of thing is my fucking jams, my shits, my fucking other words that people would use to describe that. Anyway, that kind of thing is really my style, so it'll already fit into that. I do tend to lean towards a very specific, a more specific version of that. Apparently, considering what I've learned, anything that Mari Okada puts together apparently is the fucking greatest thing on the planet to me. Didn't even know who she was until like a couple weeks ago, and now she's like my favorite human being on the goddamn planet. Shoutouts to my girl, can't wait to see Makia. Anyway. So I'm really into that kind of thing. So it already going into it was hitting some buttons. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I'm trying to think on really what my favorite episode was, because I would like to go over some of my favorite things. For me, I think trying to remember. I think my favorite episode probably would have had to have been... episode 6, I think, was the one I enjoyed the most. It was the one where Yuzu was on the bike. I think we got introduced to dark chocolate. Oh, dear God, is that when that happened? I think it was. Oh, he makes me feel things in my heart and other places. Hey, maybe we don't talk about that in public. That just sounds weird when you do it like that. Yeah. Don't yeah then. Who am I talking to? Yeah, no, I think that was my favorite one of the series so far. That was also the episode when her dad left, I believe, if I remember correctly. There was the whole episode that was where May's dad took a bit of a forefront role place thing, I think. Again, it's been a minute since I've seen that episode, obviously, because 6 weeks ago. Point is, it was more than that, because I took 2 breaks. But yeah, no, so it's been a little while, but I believe that was my go-to. Other, I'd say, honorable mentions were probably be I want to say I enjoyed the last episode or so of the Matsuri arc thing. I want to say, at least. Again, I don't think my favorite. My fucking eye is killing me, and it's not great. Also, don't worry about this. Your boy's dying. So that's great. My fucking eye is really starting to piss me off. I got like an eyelash in my fucking eyeball, and it's like, can you not, please? I'm in the middle of something, you fucker. But yeah, no, I think the last episode of Mitsuri's thing was pretty alright, if I remember correctly. And I actually enjoyed a lot of the twins stuff. Can't tell if I preferred the first episode or the last episode of the twins more. I like the twins because I liked them as characters. I think that really helped in my situation. Like, Matsuri's stuff was interesting because she was just a bitch the whole time, and she went out of her way to make everything as worse as physically fucking possible. So from a purely like drama antagonistic standpoint, she did a really good job, and I really did enjoy that aspect of the character, even if I wanted to slap the shit out of her. You know, it's a give and take situation. It's like, I love you as a character. As a human being, little less so. But like the twins, I really enjoyed, because Sarasota, California, fucking whoever's or what's it. I really enjoyed her because she had a fucking heart and a pretty decent head on her. I mean, she immediately jumped onto the I want to get down on May's heart and other parts immediately after meeting her. So she's not what I would describe as the most rational individual, but in pretty much every other way, she seemed to really have a pretty good head on her. Like, she was very used to taking care. It seemed like she was very used to taking care of Nina and putting everything together and being that the shoulder to cry on and the moral compass of the two, because Nina, girl's like a 3-year-old and what, a 16-something, 17-year-old girl's body. Girl is tall as I am, and I'm a fucking giant. She got just expect her to run around with a fucking easy bake oven. But yeah, no, so it was one of those things where I found them to be really enjoyable. Nina was that very fun, over-the-top, ridiculous child. And Sarah was very much the... Like, even when she figured out what was going on between Mei and Yuzu, she wasn't... She didn't immediately go like, oh, I'm gonna fucking ruin this shit. She was like, she wanted to take care of, she wanted to be happy and have her own stuff, but even then, it's not like she was fucking, yeah, fuck that hoe, get all up with me, girlfriend, partner, guy, pal, friend. She was very mature about it, and I really did enjoy that. She's also just fucking adorable, and Chris, don't you judge me. I didn't say she was that kind of attractive yet. Again, I always feel weird about that because, like, all the characters in the fucking show are gay. Almost. I would assume. At least a good number of them. Most that we've been introduced. Some. So it's always like, is that weird? Is it? Probably. I don't know. I wouldn't think so, because if only because it's not unreasonable to be attracted to someone who's, say, in a relationship with someone else. We'll say, Carrie, look at her. She's in a relationship with Steve. Steve is a lucky guy. She's very attractive. You're goddamn right she is. Stop looking at her, please. I will gladly do that. Picture. Move on. Chris, I'm joking. But, you know, it's like that. Nobody's the same way for guys, or for girls as for guys. So, like, oh my God, Becky, look at Steve. He looks so good. I'm like, yeah, he does. It's my man. Now back the fuck up. Like, it's the same thing. This is not a topic worth having. This is completely irrelevant. I was talking about my favorite episode. Anyway, yeah, so, point is, I liked the twins. I think they were my favorite of the antagonists of the show, you know? An antagonist is a harsh word. I guess, honestly, Nina's more of an antagonist than fucking Sarah was. Because, I mean, technically, Sarah could be considered an antagonist only in that, like, she was in the way. Nina was actually attempting to get in the... They're cool. As for the other characters, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I forgot fucking homegirl's name. Was it Harumi? Haruman? Haruyama. The Yuzu's best friend or whatever. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was very enjoyable. She had that same sort of thing that Sarah had, which I found really enjoyable. She seemed to have pretty decent morals. She had some good funny moments. She seemed to have a heart on her. Again, heart, not hard. It's just, oh God, I really need to emphasize the difference between those two words. Anyway, she was fairly enjoyable. Then there comes down to Mitsuri. And again, she's very frustrating. She's very problematic. But to a certain extent, I get where she was coming from. I don't think it was justified, but I get where she was coming from. So I'll give her that, I guess. Then she's also adorable. Again, really was not expecting that voice. For whatever reason, when I saw her, I assumed she would have a deeper voice. I don't know why that was the thing. That's just in my head. I was like, oh, she's gonna have a sassier, deeper voice. But no, she's all like, yeah, up here, and I'm like, goddamn, woman. Bad people. Anyway, yeah, there's not too much more to say on Mitsuri other than I liked her as a character, a little less so as a person. I'm glad that towards the end she started to get a little bit more redemption and pull herself out of being such an asshat. So there's that. And then I suppose on to Yuzu and Mei in particular. For me, I've said it multiple times, but I think my best girl, my waifu, but again, it's that thing I'm always worried about, is my favorite was probably Yuzu. I really liked her character. I think she's definitely my favorite. At least not counting Sarah. Again, she started to steal the show right there at the end. Point is, I really liked her general attitude. She's one of those people who, it got mentioned a couple times on the show, but she's one of those very impulsive, emotional people who cares a lot and tries to do the right thing. And again, she's got a good head on her. She's not the brightest of the bunch, but she's got $1 million heart. I think I said that multiple times. Nickelhead $1 million heart. And I think that's okay, because those kind of people they're important, and they make the world a better place, even if they goof things up every once in a while. Especially very early on, there was a lot of things that she did who was like, maybe don't. Admittedly, a lot of it was started by Mei. So I can't really blame Yuzu too terribly much, because Homegirl started a lot of problems, and then she just kind of had to react to that shit. But yeah, no, so I do think Yuzu is my favorite. I like her design. I like her. I fucking adore her voice actress. I don't know, for whatever reason, I really like that tone of voice that she has. I need to look up and see if she's been in anything else here at some point. I don't know if she has. If you know, in the comment section down below, throw that shit out the window. No, I mean in the comment. Why would you throw it out the window? But yeah, no, I dug her, and I thought she was. I think she was definitely my favorite. All jokes about bears aside. So yeah, no, I dug Yuzu. As for Mei, it was harder for me to get behind Mei. Phrasing. Than it was for me to get behind Yuzu, because again, Yuzu, she's got that $1 million heart, even if she does make mistakes. Mei is a bit more complicated of a nut to crack. Again, she's very immature for how mature she is. Like, again, that very mature outside, but just a puddle of fucking emotions on the inside, and it's just it was interesting, because again, I don't dislike her by any means, but she has a way, or had a way, of constantly not always making things easy, which again is understandable, because I mean they're teens, and it's motherfucker, I'm an adult. Terrible excuse for an adult, but I'm an adult, and I have no idea what's going on with my emotions 98% of the time. I'm a sad baby boy who don't know how life do. But like, it's just it's interesting seeing her because of how little she had shit together, and obviously there's a lot of reasons behind that, not the least of which was everything with her dad going on and taking off and all that shit. So it's understandable where she comes from, and I don't dislike her by any means. But you know, I did have more issues. Despite her being fairly relatable in that, you know, complete inability to control her fucking anything. Despite her being relatable like that, it was harder for me to connect to her than it was, say, Yuzu. Maybe that's because I'm a fucking lunatic, as you can probably tell by watching any video I've ever put out. Yeah, so, I guess that's really my thoughts on those two. I guess the only other person in the show, really, to talk about would be Mei's dad, and the best mom in the fucking world. Thank you very much. She's a muffin. I love her. That's all that can be said. Look at her face. I don't have probably a screenshot. It's probably just me on this camera right now, but you know that maybe that's enough. This beautiful, beautiful fucking it's awful. Anyway. Yeah, no, Yuzu's mom was dope. I really enjoyed her. I'm sad we didn't get to see much more of her after, like, the beginning, and then she kind of just showed up once every blue moon, and it kind of sucked. But, just because I loved her so much. As for Mei's dad, again, going into it, I know, at least some people definitely seem to disagree with me to a certain extent about, thoughts on her dad. For me, I was pretty lenient and forgiving for him. It seemed other people were less so. It's one of those difficult things, because on one hand, I totally get where the frustration with him comes in. I totally get that, because my boy fucked up a bit, it sounds like. But I also sympathize with his position. I totally get the hating everything about your life and wanting to make a change and wanting to be something more. And again, from the way it made it out, like he was doing, like, I don't know, not volunteer work necessarily, but he was doing humanitarian work. Is that what I should be saying? He was trying to change his life for the better, to do better for the world. And in the end, that ended up causing a lot of pain on his daughter, which wasn't good by any means. And I don't like, oh, well, that's just a Tuesday. No, I mean, he fucked up. He definitely did, and he should really consider visiting more often. But it's one of those things where, like, I get where he was coming from, and I get his reasons even if they don't fully justify his kind of abandonment of May, because very little is going to be able to justify that. So, you know, it's just I don't love the dude by any means, but I kind of try to understand where he's coming from. Again, it doesn't excuse what he did. That's my thoughts on it. And of course, it did seem that despite his inability to show it correctly, he did seem to really, really care about May. He was constantly trying to get a hold of her, at least from what I remember. He was constantly trying to send her letters and messages, and constantly trying to keep up a relationship, even if he wasn't actually there. So I can at least appreciate that a little more. Obviously, again, doesn't fix the situation. Yeah, I think that's the best I can really say on any of that. This is actually way longer than I thought it was going to be. I actually, surprisingly, had way more about the show to talk about than I thought I did. Yeah, honestly, other than that, though, I don't think I have too much more to say on the show, other than, again, I enjoyed it. I'm very curious if they do end up ever doing a season 2. If they do, I will say this, I will definitely be willing to check it out here on the channel. So if it ever ends up what the fuck am I trying to say? If it does ever end up happening, run and throw it my way, be like, yo, dude, catch fucking season 2, and I'll be like, dark chocolate, come back to me. Why did I say it in his voice? Oh my god. Yeah, no, so I'm curious to see if they end up doing that. Even if they don't, I'm not 100% sure whether or not I'm going to commit to picking up the manga. I might. I think there's definitely things worth checking out. And again, as has been discussed in the comments, I do actually quite a bit enjoy the lady who, again, I think it's a, yeah, it is a lady, right? Yeah, because the whole thing is based on her experiences, kind of thing. The person who does the art, and I believe the writing of the manga, I do really enjoy her art. So if for only that reason alone, I'd consider picking it, especially since that was the whole reason I was gonna watch the show in the first place, was because I was gonna pick up the manga years ago when it first came out. Anyway, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking I probably will. Again, if season 2 ends up coming around, I will gladly check it out eventually here on the channel. I suppose the only other thing to say is that I retract everything I've ever said about Yuzu and Sarah being best girls, because we all know who the actual factual best girl is. It's goddamn Dark Chocolate and his Bear Brigade. Little Mini Muffin and Blueberry, and apparently there is a 4th bear, as I have been told, and his name is Gil. Gil is the greatest of the boys. Little boy Gilbert is my man, baby, child, monster, demon thing with the weird eye that it has, but I don't care because he's a muffin. Not a mini muffin, just a regular muffin. I don't know why I got so enthused about the bears. Oh my god, if you've checked out Hina Matsuri, or if you haven't checked out Hina Matsuri, I should say, all I'm gonna say is the bear love apparently transmuted over to that show as well, because there was a teddy bear in that, and I'm gonna say his little Roosevelt looks like a muffin. So that's great. Yeah. Long story, but very, very short. I enjoyed the show, and I want to say thank you guys very much for coming along with me and enjoying it with me. Again, you guys were the first thing I did in relation to reactions. You guys were the one that exploded, and is still by far the biggest, as far as, what am I trying to say? As far as, what am I trying to say? As far as, interaction on purely, like, a viewer basis and shit like that. There was a lot of love coming from you guys on that front, so I really appreciate it. I'm glad as many of you enjoyed it as you did. Thank you for showing me the weird world of how gender breaks up in YouTube videos, audiences, apparently. Yeah, no, I had a very good time. I don't regret a second of it, and I do really appreciate you guys coming along with me. Again, I don't know how many of you guys are sticking around. I know a good couple of you mentioned you guys were sticking around after the finale, and I really do appreciate that. You guys are fucking awesome, and I really hope you guys continue to enjoy whatever the fuck it is I do here. As you guys know, Hinamatsuri is, I don't know when this video is coming out. This actually might be coming out later today when I'm posting this on Sunday. When I'm recording this, what the fuck? When I'm recording this on Sunday. And if that is the case, then, well, Hinamatsuri comes out tomorrow then, and not before this. But whenever it comes out, Hinamatsuri is either starting up tomorrow, or it started up like yesterday, or it started the day that this came out. I don't know. Point is, it's starting. And I'm enjoying it quite a bit, and I'm hoping that maybe some of you guys will check that out and enjoy it as well. It is a funny time if I'd ever seen one. Also, it's got them sneak emotions in there. I ain't prepared for that shit. This turns into another goddamn A Place Further in the Universe. I'm gonna be pissed. I've cried in like literally every episode of that show. It's ridiculous. But yeah, no, so Hinamatsuri, our gaming videos, the first episode of The Fruit of Grisaya came out like yesterday as I'm recording this. And Pokemon is going to be starting up not this weekend, but next weekend. I already have it recorded, but the editing, those take a long time to edit. But yeah, no, so things are coming along on the channel. Again, and No Game No Life is going to be starting here very, very shortly, because A Place Further is coming to an end very, very soon, which makes me sad. It does. But it's good, because I'm excited to check out No Game. Peng Inverted. That was something I was originally going to record tonight, and then didn't happen, so that's going to be recorded at some other point. And at some point in the next week or two, maybe this weekend or next weekend, I think, is when Peng Inverted for the 100 subscriber special is going to be coming out. So if you guys are into that, there it be. To be honest, I don't think I have too much else other to say. I had a good time, and I hope you guys did too. Also, I'm all scrunched up in my back. Oh my god. Yeah, I had a great time, and I hope you guys did too. Thank you so very, very much for coming along on this zesty, fresh journey with me. You guys fucking kick ass. So, yeah. Till next time, or till never again, depending on where you end up going with this. I hope you guys have a good time. Toodles, doodles, and for the last time, at least unless the season 2 ends up rolling around, toodles, doodles, and citrus. Ha, bye-bye.